Welcome back. We're going to do a very quick study of this narrative drawing. I believe this is by Millet, a French genre and landscape painter. The main thing we're paying attention to here is the gesture. You can tell that this person, were it not for the rope that she's holding on to, evidently dragging something along behind her, she would fall over, right? So this is going to give us the challenge of trying to put the head out in front of the feet. And notice her head is sort of bent over, so I'm going to start with a very simplified little head like that. I'm going to locate the rib cage behind the mass of the head and more or less vertical. Then I'm going to draw the pelvis strongly tilting forward. And then I'm going to work my way down to the weight-bearing foot. And we always want to relate the head to the weight-bearing foot. I'm going to relate it like this. I'm going to drop a plumb line down from the chin. Don't skip this step. And that's going to give me an idea where to put this toe. It's behind this plumb line. How did I know how far down to put it? Well, I'm estimating the midpoint of her body, right where I would expect it to be, around the trochanter, which is buried underneath all that stuff, but right through here. So that gets us to, and here we have to do a little bit of inventing. This leg is about like this, and then the leg in the foreground is sort of like that. It should feel in your drawings as if she's definitely leaning forward, leaning into something. Notice that this shoulder is drawn forward. Notice that the top of the shoulder is higher than the bottom of the chin. This elbow curls around her torso like that. And in a great drawing, you'll often see angles repeated. You see how this angle and this angle and this angle are all the same. And this angle, and that's where the harmony in the drawing comes from. So in your drawing, check and make sure that you're picking up on that. And that's a great way to just learn how to start relating things in the drawing that are not right next to each other, which is a theme that I keep returning to, but beginners just relate objects that are close to each other, and advanced students start to relate things that are far away from each other. So go ahead and drop all these lines in. The more you start looking for them, see how the back of the heel follows the same angle, the back of this heel. Even this little crease right here. And you see how that repetition of that forward sloping line leads to a strong sense of the forward sloping pose. And the first real contour I'm going to draw is this contour of the apron, which is behind this plumb line. And the back of the skirt, which is way back here behind the bottom leg. I mean the foreground leg, I should have said. This is a little more vertical than I drew it. Okay, I told you this would be quick. So we're going to go into detail now. Actually, let me pause for a minute so I can check your work. So we're going to, I always like to start my details with the head. And so I want some people I spoke to, you're still drawing like this, little tiny hatching movements. Do you see any of that in this drawing? No, this is what we need to aspire to. It's better to just try to make a nice smooth contour like this and get it wrong than to develop the bad habit of just going over your lines a million times. So just try to do it. Try to do what you see me doing. And if you can't do it, understand that this is a skill that is best developed drawing with a pen, because with a pen you can't go back and fudge your work. So here's that little closed eye. Notice it flows right into the side of the cheek. Here's the little nose. The philtrum, this is called a lost profile. It means it's turned away from us. So the nose is really tiny. The ear is just about centered on the head. Look how simple this is. There's really not a whole lot to it. This shading in the back of the head is done with the side of the pencil, you can probably tell. So if you want to try that, you just do like this. But look at how fluid these lines are. They're just flowing around the contours. So just try. I don't care if you get every contour wrong, but I'd like to see you just try to make your lines this way. And understand it takes practice. And you're going to make mistakes. I just screwed up I didn't really make the back of the head big enough here. You can probably tell Millet seems to have been right-handed by the shading direction. And look at here, watch me draw this line and look at the control he has of the line weight. The line starts out very bold, and then as it gets down towards the hand, it trails off and becomes kind of faint. And I'm going to shade all this. Okay, this is driving me crazy. That's better. notice that the back, the sleeve, just has one shading in one direction. The back of the arm has shading in one direction. And then the back has cross hatching to bring it a step darker. Now, is this what you'd call a bustle? Yeah, before the development of prosthetic gluteal implants, they resorted to these. They would just bunch fabric up around their rears. That's one fashion trend that you keep waiting for that to come back, you know, the bustle. I don't think it's coming back. Okay, are you keeping up with me? So look at this hand. This is like, you guys, everyone look at this hand. Like, you think you've got to draw it perfectly for it to be good. This is a beautiful little drawing, but look at how this hand's like a little tiny claw. It's like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it makes sense for the gesture. You see that? It's like, it has a kind of logic to it, despite the fact that there's really no effort made to draw the fingers proportionally or anything. And let's zoom out again. Let's see how we're doing here. This is a great example of non-local color thinking. Like, you see how this is white and this is a dark fabric, but what the artist has emphasized isn't the difference between this and this, but the difference between the shadow side of the torso and the light side of the torso. So that's another really important lesson. Like, the sense of light in this little drawing is pretty astonishing when you consider like how really little attention was given to the actual shading. So here's another one of those smooth contour lines. Please try to do it like that. And here I didn't really go into much detail down here earlier, so let's see this angle. That's an important thing to maybe mark up. And here I'm going to do a quick shadow map. Again, with smooth flowing lines, but faintly, because these are just indicating where my shadows are going to go. Like this, and in visual art, it's very easy to sort of take your time a little too much, because unlike the performing arts, like nobody really has to know how long something took you. But when you look at a masterpiece like this, you can tell absolutely that this is like a 15-minute drawing. There's no way that you can make something like this over the span of hours. And a lot of the beauty of it is in that kind of effortless immediacy of the drawing. So working on speed is not optional. It's really important to learn how to create things a little faster and breezily. That's probably one of the best things that people get out of really competitive art schools is the pressure to finish things every day really forces you to work a lot faster. But if it's not fast, it's like, if I don't know, it's an unfair comparison, but like, let's say you could barely read music. You're trying to play a difficult piano concerto. And you're like, oh yeah, I can play that perfectly. Just give me several hours to play a 15-minute piece, and I can hit every note perfectly. Well, that's not very impressive, right? You just basically hunt and peck for every note. You're going to get them all right, but what if you haven't achieved anything that anyone would want to listen to? And that's how I feel about drawings that take way too long. You might eventually get everything right, but where's the drama, and where's the visual interest? It's not really there for me. Look at these little lightning zigzag marks, these little faint folds in the apron. Okay, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching.